Hi, welcome to Anything is Possible. Sorry I didn't post anything last week. I was on a trip and I had to fly up to Arizona, to Tucson, to my aunt's 100th birthday celebration. The whole family was there. They flew in from all over the country, and it was a great time. This was my first time leaving Mexico and coming back in, and I wanted to share a little bit about that experience as well as my experience. Felix is back there. I wanted to say hi. Getting a pet sitter. First, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it takes to get out of the country. I had understood that I had to check in with immigration services at the airport and get my passport stamped after they look at my temporary visa card and my flight plans. And so I was trooping all over. I thought it would be a large visible office. I mean, everything else is visible at the airport. All the airlines, the car rentals, big food court, there's an information desk, and I went all over, and I saw finally asked at the information, and she said, well, it's down by the food court. And so I went and I finally found it tucked away in a little corner. It's not very visible at all. And I went by and I looked in the window and there was just nobody there. And I thought, that's so weird, because everybody that leaves the country that is from America has to go through this process of getting their passport stamped. So I would think that would include a lot of people, but there was nobody there. So I went away and I wandered around a little bit, and I thought, well, maybe there's someplace else that I'm just not seeing. And I went back and there was still nobody there, and so I called in the window. I said, hola, and this lady popped around the corner. So she was there, but she just wasn't sitting at the window waiting for people. So she looked at my flight plan and my passport and stamped it and signed it, and I was on my way to get in the line to go through security. And I had done pre-checkout. Volaris is kind of interesting. You can actually, you have to pay extra, but you can pay for your seat reservation ahead of time. And then I guess it's probably about 24 hours before the flight, you can actually check in. But you still have to wait in the long line, as if you were checking baggage or anything else, to find out the gate and make sure they know you're there and all that. So I can't say as pre-check-in really saves you much time. Of course, I made a mistake. I was starting to get a little tension headache from the stress, as I tend to do when I'm traveling. And I stopped and got an electrolyte, which is kind of Mexico's version of Gatorade. It has a lot of minerals and magnesium and stuff that helps with my tension headaches. And stopped and got a big bottle of that, and I went to go through the security check, and no bottles of liquids. Everybody that flies a lot knows this, but I don't fly a lot, so I didn't know. And so they took the bottle away, and she says, go back through the gate and you can guzzle it down and come back through again. So that's what I did. I drank about half a bottle all at once and went back through with my purse. And of course, you know, you have to take your shoes off and your belt off and any metal. And so I got through that and got on the flight, and everything was, you know, just fine. In Tucson, I had a really good time. Had time to go out and do a little bit of hiking on Sunday afternoon after the festivities with my cousin and my sister, who I hardly ever get to see. Monday I flew back. I didn't know what the procedure was. I was pretty sure I would have to check in with immigration to let them know I was coming back in the country, but I didn't know what the procedure was for that. But luckily, when you come back in, it's right there when you pass through. They look at your passport and stamp it and sign it. So that was really easy. I didn't have to go track down any immigration office or anything there. And I don't even know for sure if that would have been done automatically when I went through the boarding gates. I don't think so. There was no other real immigration interview or anything at that end. So maybe I didn't have to do that, but I was very concerned, so that's what I did. I went ahead and checked in. But we had a great time. We ate dinner out at a nice restaurant the night of her birthday, and then the Saturday was the actual big birthday bash at one of my cousin's houses there in Tucson. And the night of, I took some pictures of, Tucson Christmas tree with Christmas light. Then during the party, I don't want to post pictures of actual family members without their permission, but I did get some cute shots of the family dog, Molly. My sister and I met up in Phoenix. Her flight was coming from Pennsylvania, and mine, of course, was coming from Guadalajara. And we managed to get flights that were not too far apart, and I had my sister rent the car because I don't have any insurance for driving in the United States anymore. I'll be researching that because I'm sure I'll need to rent a car and drive in the U.S., but my U.S. auto insurance is no longer, they discontinued it. Anyway, getting back to the airport was, it was fine. You have to fill in a little sheet to show that you aren't bringing in more than $10,000 worth of money or goods from the United States, and I brought less than I took in. I only had like $35 or $45 U.S. money left over from when I crossed the border driving down, and I managed only to spend maybe $15 of that. We got lunch someplace, I guess, and so anyway, that was a piece of cake, just a little form to fill out real quick. Then I got a taxi, which was really easy. There's actually, at Guadalajara Airport, there's a booth near where you do the car rentals. Big sign says taxi, and you actually just pay for it. You tell them where you're going, and it's a flat fee for all the taxis. Everybody charges the same. There's no meter in the car or anything. And so you pay up front and you grab a receipt, and then you go stand in line, and there's taxis lined up and guys waving you to which line to go to, and it was real quick to get a taxi. Real nice guy, but really didn't speak any English, so I was glad I had my Spanish that I know enough to be able to give him directions to get to my house and get home, and always make sure to give him a nice generous tip. There was actually no traffic at all in Guadalajara. I was so lucky. I thought, coming in, it was about 4:30 in the afternoon. I thought I might have quite a bit of traffic, but I didn't. I mean, it was just a real breeze getting out, no accidents and nothing. And it was before the afternoon traffic. So this was, I've never done a pet sitter before. She came and she stayed at the house, and I interviewed her and talked to her many times, chatting on WhatsApp and communicating back and forth. And when she came to visit the first time, things went really well. Felix even came out to say hi. And Wookie was fine with her, and I just got a really good feeling about her. So I went ahead and hired her, and but there were some surprises when I got back, and even during the trip. So So I got home and I had sent a message WhatsApp to my pet sitter, house sitter, when I left the airport to let her know I was on my way. And it was so quick getting here. I really think they always estimate 45 minutes from the airport to Lake Chapala, but you know, it's always taken me well over an hour just because there's always traffic. But it was the first time I've ever driven that road and there was no traffic. I arrived a little early and I walk in the gate and she was like, "Oh, you got here way earlier than I expected." And I'm like, "Yeah." And the thing that disturbed me was she had said that she was going to be sending videos morning and evening with a full report on the pets, morning and night, on how everybody's doing, and I could see my pets and make sure they were doing fine. And you know, when it rolled around, I texted her once and she sent me a picture of her watching the TV, no animals in sight. And I was like, that's kind of odd. That was, I guess, Friday. And then by Saturday night, I hadn't heard anything at all from her. And I said, you know, you always have to start everything when you're talking to a Mexican. It's like, you know, hola, how are you? I hope you're doing good. And, you know, and then, you know, I said, I'm just getting a little worried because I haven't gotten any reports on my pets. And you said you were going to be sending videos morning and night and a full report on them. And she says, well, the kitties miss you a lot. They're basically hiding under the cabinet in the bathroom, which doesn't surprise me. My cats are a little timid. She says they do come out at night, and they've been coming out and eating dinner and using the litter box and doing what they need to do at night. But during the day, they're underneath the cabinet in the bathroom. And I thought, well, that's okay. You know, they'll be fine for 4 days. But she didn't really say much about Wookie. And so now the thing of it is I have a security camera out front. I was checking the app all the time to see what was going on, who was coming and going. And I had told her he has to be walked morning and night. And I said, midday, if you need to go out and do other things, that's fine. Just feel free. But I said, you know, morning, make sure that you get Wookie his walk and clean the litter boxes, make sure there's water for everybody. And then, you know, by 8:30 or so, you should be free until 5 o'clock when they need to have dinner. And then you need to walk Wookie again. And I was watching the gate and she didn't walk Wookie. And I think it was Friday night, finally, I looked in the security camera and I had introduced her to my good neighbor down the street who knows Wookie well. And we have walked our dogs together. And she apparently was unable to get hold of Wookie. And so my neighbor came down and she walked Wookie for her. And so Wookie got a walk that night, and that was fine. I didn't expect him to be that shy. And so then I was watching the security camera, and I didn't see her walk Wookie on Saturday morning. Now, one thing that I had told her was leave the screen door cracked so the animals could come and go in and out of the yard as they please. And I looked at the security camera, and this man that she had introduced me to before was there a lot. I mean, he would come out the front door and he was looking around, smoking a cigarette out in front, and just there a lot. And so it was pretty clear that he was spending like the whole day there with her. And then I saw finally later that day, my neighbor came over again and with her dog, and she and the pet sitter walked together. So she managed to get the harness on Wookie and they walked together that day. And then my neighbor might have come one more time to walk together, but I can't remember for sure. And then I didn't see her walk Wookie again. I mean, I don't know what was going on there. My security camera doesn't always trigger So it could be that she did walk him, and for some reason, it's pretty good though. I mean, it pretty much catches any motion coming and going. So I have a feeling she didn't walk him. And long story short, I got home and there was just, she left. I paid her the full amount and she left. And I started finding out the kitchen was just a mess. And I opened the cabinet to get a pan out. There was a filthy pan in the cupboard. I don't know, what that was about, but I had to soak it and scrub it out. And the stove was filthy. I mean, it looked like somebody had turned on, there's a central griddle, and it looked like somebody had turned on the central griddle and left the burner running the whole time, because it was kind of that bluish color, like it had started to burn up. And there was stuff crusted on there and stuff spilled on the burners. It was a gas stove, but I got a little disturbed, so I checked with my neighbor and I said, "What's your feeling about the pet sitter?" And she goes, "Oh, I wouldn't hire her." Turns out, she came in once, and when she was there with her dog, and it's like her whole family was staying there with her. This older guy is like her father, and then there was a teenage girl, and I found since that she was sleeping on my guest bed. There's some sheets that were folded up. They look like they've been used. I never make that bed. It's got a bedspread and then a bunch of kitty blankets on it. And so now I'm going to have to wash all the sheets. And and all the towels and the sheets and towels and everything. I think they may have spent one night here, but she was supposed to spend every night. The other thing was when I got home from the airport, it was, by the time I got settled in, it was like 5:30 and I was hungry, and there aren't many restaurants open in this particular area. They had eaten everything in the house, and I had told her, feel free to help yourself to whatever food there is. I'd just gotten 12.5 eggs and 2 big packages of really good cheese, and I don't know, a bunch of carrots, and everything was gone. I mean, I thought at least I could have a cheese omelet and a tortilla. Everything cleaned out. The refrigerator was empty. And I thought, how could one person possibly eat 12.5 eggs and 2 packages of cheese? And that was when I decided to talk to my neighbor, and she said, yeah, the whole family was apparently staying here. And I didn't hire the whole family. I hired her. It's what she does with her family is her problem, but it's a lesson learned. As you hire somebody, you're including the whole family, and I know it's a very family-oriented culture. And I guess I should have kind of anticipated this, that when you hire a housekeeper, you're actually kind of hiring the whole family. I mean, you are taking responsibility for the events that happen with that family, and it's supposed to be helping them financially. But it just was mind-boggling to me that I hired this woman to come and stay at my house, and she brings her whole family. I mean, I was just, I don't know. I didn't know how to take that. I mean, it just never occurred to me. But anyway, the other thing that was really bad was Wookie was just shaking like a leaf. When I got home, she says he never leaves the bed. He lies on the bed all the time. And apparently snarls and snapped at her, and first I was thinking, wow, this is so out of character. He's such a friendly little guy. He was traumatized, and I will never do this to him again. He felt that this family was there, uninvited, and intruding on his space, and he felt like he needed to protect it, and when he couldn't, he was devastated. He was traumatized by this. So I just decided I'm not going to do that again. So I just decided what I'm going to do is try and get Wookie to a daycare that my neighbor takes her dogs to. They go and play, and they have a small dog area and a big dog area, and Wookie ordinarily just loves playing with smaller dogs. I'm going to take him and get him used to going to this place and knowing that I'm going to come and pick him up. So he'll be used to the place, used to the people, and know that it's a happy place and know that I'll be coming back. But leaving him, this is the first time I've boarded him before and he was fine. But this is the first time where I've actually left him with a house sitter. I think he would have been fine if it was quiet and it was just her. But the fact that she had all this commotion and a teenage daughter and her father who smelled like cigarette smoke, and let me tell you, my dog does not like anybody that smells like cigarette smoke. I think it was just the whole intrusion of a whole unknown family without me there, uninvited, coming into his territory. It was just traumatic to him, so I won't do that again. So my neighbor said she would come down if I have to go away, and taking care of the cats is a piece of cake. Once a day, clean the litter box, top up the water, put some food out. You know, it's nothing. Wookiees needs company, and the kitties I think will be much happier with nobody there at all. And in the future, I might get more security cameras. Wise will sell like numerous cameras, and I could put one in the house, in the living room. You know, mine is an open floor plan, so I could, you know, take videos of the entire living room and kitchen area, and in addition to the front door, monitoring who comes and goes. It was a real learning experience for me. Luckily, I mean, nothing was stolen. The animals were not injured in any way, and the lady, I believe, truly is a dog lover, but inexperienced. Kind of a not happy ending to the whole thing, but a learning experience. So anyway, that is my lesson for today. And I hope that you all have a wonderful week. That's about it for me. So take care. Have a great week. Bye.